God of Thunder dipped in a milk bath. He's not just white, he's white. I don't know if I'm feeling this angle. Also, I need a haircut, but I don't want to go out and get a haircut because cases are rising because people on the mainland won't stay the hell at home. Hello, hi. I am very excited to be sitting down in front of a camera and talking about books again, mostly because I'm here to tell you guys about my wikathon TBR. If you didn't know, wikathon is a readathon wherein I think the overall challenge is to read books by Filipino authors or Filipino voices in August, just the entire month, or at least that's what I plan on doing. It is based on Buwan ang Wika. I believe that translates as the celebration of languages, and then there's a sort of derivation of that where this month is also the celebration of Filipino authors and Filipino voices. Your Tita Kate, she organized last year and this year a readathon for us to participate and read more books by Filipino authors. It's especially special to me because I actually started my YouTube channel last wikathon in August of 2020. So I am not only celebrating wikathon, but I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary on BookTube, which is super cool. I'm very excited. Besides reading Filipino voices during the month of August, Kate has kindly organized some prompts in case you're kind of lost and you don't know where to start. So I'm going to go through all of the prompts. I am so sorry, I do not speak Tagalog, and so my pronunciation of the prompts is probably going to be awful, and I beg you, I implore you not to clown me or gatekeep me in the comments. And as always, if you see me looking down, that means I'm looking at the reading journal spreads that I've created for wikathon. I actually kind of wanted to share these with you guys because I had so much fun making these spreads. These spreads feature stationery, so stickers, washi tape, etc., only by Filipino creators. This is from Cute Loot Arts. I don't know if you can see very well, but it's a panda and it's a buko pandan, which is my personal favorite dessert. So without further ado, let's go through my TBR for this month. So the very first prompt is Bagong Salta, which is read a book by a Filipino author you've never read before. Mistakenly, I thought Jessie Q. Sutanto was Filipino, but she's actually Chinese Indonesian. So if you've seen my Instagram post, I have changed it since then to rectify this. I will be reading Never Have I Ever by Isabel Yap. I'll leave the cover here. This is a collection of short stories. I don't know much besides that. The cover is gorgeous, so I'm hoping the content matches the cover. The next prompt is Decentralization, which I'm sorry I pronounce like a colonizer. And the prompt is read a book by a Filipino author who is not Tagalog. I will actually be reading something by Erin Entrada Kelly, who is Bisaya. I have read all of Erin Entrada Kelly's books except for one. That book is Blackbird Fly. So I'm very excited to read this. I read pretty much all of Erin Entrada Kelly's other books during wikathon last year, so I'm excited to see what this book is about. The next prompt is by Lan, which is read a book by a Filipino author featuring the supernatural. And for this, I will be picking up Disenchanted by Brianna Sugalski. If you didn't know, Brianna Sugalski is a Filipino-American author from Hawaii, so she's also kamaaina. I picked this book up technically in July. I started reading it, as you can tell, but let's just say I have to give it a second try. It is set in Renaissance era Europe, I think Britain. The catch is that there's supernatural things, so it fits the prompt. We see vampires, werewolves, all that kind of stuff in this Renaissance era setting. I have to give it a second try though, so I will be reading this for that prompt. And the next prompt is Tata, which is read a book where both the main character and the love interest are Filipino. So essentially a Filipino romance novel. Some romance that I really have liked is by Tiff Marcello. Tiff Marcello definitely hits the nail on the head with what I want out of romance, where there is the romance aspect, but you also get like a lot of personal development on the main character and the love interest part. So I will be reading North to You by Tiff Marcello for wikathon this month. The next prompt is Illustrato, which is read a book featuring intellectuals, academics, or an academia setting. And I will be reading Insurrecto by Gina Apostal. I don't really know what this book is about. This was one of the prompts that I was having trouble finding a book for. Kate's suggestion post kind of saved me, so I found Illustrato by Gina Postal, and I'll be reading that for Illustrato. Next prompt is katipunan, which prompt is read a book featuring a secret society. So I chose Alinam by Mickey Ingalls. It is, I believe, it's either middle grade or YA, and it's a like a urban fantasy. Alinam, if you didn't catch on, is Manila backwards, so it's supposed to be like an underground Manila. I was mostly interested in picking up this book because the main character's name is Diego. His name is Diego Domingo, and I love that so much. First of all, because I love the name Diego, but also because my son's name is Diego. So the next prompt is balanga, which is read a book that features imperialism. And for that, I will be buddy reading with Justine from Morena Monologues and Veronica from Moon Coffee Books, Faker by Sarah Smith. I thought I was so funny jokingly suggesting it, but then they were like, yeah, let's do it. I was joking, but let's do it. There are tons of memes on this from Filipino book Twitter. If you haven't seen Shalea and Kate talk about it, you're definitely missing out. The gist is that the main character is Filipino and she falls for a white dude and she is obsessed with his whiteness. Like, I think the quote is, God of Thunder dipped in a milk bath. He's not just white, he's white. Yes, I bought a physical copy because I want to annotate the shit out of this book. Like, I am so excited to have a terrible time. The books that I have for the last two prompts are actually rereads because one, I couldn't really find many other books that I was interested in that fit the prompts, and two, I had originally read both of these books in some sort of non-physical form, so either audiobook or ebook. And so I want to give them a try in physical form and see if that changes my experience at all. I think it will, and I think I'll really enjoy both of them. So the next prompt is kayode. That is read a book with an emphasis on the main character's livelihood, job, trade, etc. And for that, I am reading Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. If you haven't seen my reading vlog, I will link it up in the cards. I was kind of lukewarm on this book. I definitely want to go into this knowing more about the book and knowing what the twist is, because I think it will definitely change my perception of the book. And also, I read this on my iPad when I read it because my partner had stolen my Kindle. Pretty sure that reading this physically will change how I feel about it. And the last prompt is tula, which is read a book by a Filipino author in verse. Did I forget to mention all of these books have to be by Filipino authors? I think that's a given. For this prompt, I am reading 500 Words or Less by Julia del Rosario. I actually read both this and Turtles Under Ice for wikathon last year, but I really loved both. I listened to the audiobook for 500 Words or Less, and I really loved it. I think that books in verse are really well done in audiobook form, but I think that there is a lot of merit to physical form too, so I can't wait to read this and see how it changes my perception of the book. And then I have a few more books that are not quite in line with any of the prompts, but I have on my physical TBR or my TBR in general. The first book is one that I've really been meaning to get to for a while, and I can't believe I haven't read it yet, but it's The Ever-Cruel Kingdom by Rin Chupeco. This is the only Rin Chupeco book I haven't read yet, and there is no good reason for that. This is the sequel and the second book in the, I think it's called the Never Tilting World duology? I don't know if there's a name for the series, but this is the second book and the last book in the duology, and there's no good reason for me not having read this yet. Two more books that I really want to read are by Roshni Chokshi. I read The Star-Touched Queen last wikathon and I fell in love with it. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but it was kind of up my alley. It was beautiful and atmospheric. It didn't have to make a lot of sense to me because I was just really enjoying the writing. Like, I was absolutely vibing with the writing, and I was so excited to find out that it has sort of a, I think it's a sequel. I don't think that this is a sequel, but I think it's in the same universe. And then there's also the Star Touch Stories, which is short stories also within the same universe. And the next books that I would like to get to are The House That Lou Built by May Respicio, as well as Any Day With You by May Respicio. These are middle grade books. I think they're very wholesome. The last book that I have on my Wikathon TBR is After Perfect by Man Gabrielle. Thank you to the publisher for sending me an ARC. This is a sort of romance, mostly contemporary novel about a 36-year-old divorcee who is, I guess, trying to navigate life after being a divorcee. Most importantly, a Filipino divorcee. Really interested in reading this. This was recommended to me by the publisher for fans of Tiff Marcello, so if you do like Tiff Marcello, apparently we're gonna like this, and I'm super excited because y'all know I love Tiff Marcello. So, and I think that's it for the books that I have lined up right now to read next month. I know that's not a lot of books given that I read 35 books last weekathon, but I have been reading less this year. I will link more information about Wikathon below, such as Kate's introduction post, as well as her recommendations. There's also a Discord server if you're looking for recommendations or just like to chat about books during Wikathon. I'm super excited. I have so many fond memories of Wikathon from last year. I honestly think that I met most of my bookish online friends through Wikathon, so Justine, Veronica, etc. I just have a lot of warm, fond memories of Wikathon, and I'm hoping that this year will be the same. Otherwise, I don't think I have much else to tell you guys. Stay tuned for all the content that I hopefully see through. Otherwise, thank you once again for tuning in. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!